It was the late 60s, and the soundtrack of our lives had begun to change. Our young people were responding to a new generation of artists who were singing a creative blend of poetry, folk music, spiritual, and political messages. Among the most avid listeners was a young Jewish girl in Minneapolis, St. Paul, named Debbie Friedman. Quiet, unassuming, and perhaps the most unlikely to become a cultural icon, Debbie began to fuse her passion for the new music and her love of Judaism. And the result was a musical phenomenon whose impact is felt to this day, and at this very biennial. We all began to see the world through her eyes, through her words, through her music, and through her passion. Suddenly, prayer became music, and her music became inspiration for a new generation. Her music had crossed generational lines, sects of Judaism, and date lines. From children's songs to congregational liturgy, from school choirs to cantorial standards, from song leading at URJ camps to selling out Carnegie Hall. From 8-track tapes to iPods, Debbie Friedman is a pioneer whose themes have become so much a part of our lives that we sometimes lose sight of where it all began. Through the years, her music has sparked a resurgence of gifted artists who share their message of prayer through song, and has sparked a renewed spirit among young Jews looking for their place in our worldwide Jewish community. Who could have predicted that she would create the soundtrack of our lives?
Sing unto God, sing a new song, oh, sing praises to God, give thanks to Him with a song.
I had a copy of Sing Unto God, which was her first album, that she gave me on tape before it was ever pressed. And I sat down at camp one summer day with a group of rabbis, a small group of rabbis, and played it. And they looked at me and said, "It's very nice, but this is not what we understand, what we do, or what will happen in our synagogues." On the other hand, song leaders and the kids were ecstatic and taken by it and captivated and made of it their own in no time at all.
Today's the day we take our stand, the future's ours to hold.
Debbie was one of the first individuals to combine Hebrew and English words in the same text. Think of Lechi Lach, to a place that I will show you. Or the Mishaberach with words in Hebrew and English. The English tells you exactly what the song is about, what the prayer is about, even if you don't understand the Hebrew. And she was able to get us feel comfortable singing Hebrew words because she gave us the English language spiritual overlay, which can be translated into any language. It was a very creative spin. And frankly, Debbie reintroduced English into the American Reform vocabulary in the 1970s after it had been totally banished. By creating a whole new genre of Jewish music, Debbie was able to reintroduce authentic spirituality, Jewish spirituality, into our camping system. I don't know if that was her intention, but that was the result of what her music did. And so she wrote melodies that spoke to us, spoke to our intellect, and spoke to our emotions.
She changed the nature and focus and direction of what song leading is, and that she was able to turn worship and prayer into music that everybody was involved in and that everybody found to be responsive to their hearts.
I am so grateful for the path that you have forged and allowed so many of us to follow. And just as the women followed Miriam, so many of us women have followed you, and whether you planned it or not, we are here because of what you have done with your career.
And she's inspired multiple generations now of song leaders and people in the Jewish music field to realize that there are no boundaries, that you know, it's all about inspiration and making people feel happy.
See the world to stand among the trees and all the living things.
I think one of the coolest things about Debbie Friedman is that it's not what she did, it's what she's still doing. She is so relevant and so amazing and still writing such amazing songs and being such a present-day influence on everyone around her.
I would say Debbie Friedman has carved a very powerful legacy in the Jewish world, because she took all the energies of the folk music that preceded it and turned it into something that directly related to Jewishness. I don't think anybody else has done that, and she's done it brilliantly.
And it has moved from that single moment of rethinking Jewish music to rethinking Jewish life using Jewish music. And that's been because Debbie Friedman has persisted in not just creating, but challenging each of us to be different and think differently and sing differently and worship differently and become transformed using the music.
Shall dream dreams, and the youth shall see vision, and our hopes shall rise up to live for today and build for tomorrow.
Debbie Friedman is an extraordinary treasure of our movement and a person of great influence, something we sometimes forget. 20 or 30 years ago, American Jews, like most Americans, had forgotten how to sing. Debbie reminded us how to sing. She taught us how to sing. She gave us the vehicles that enabled us to sing. And then she impacted our youth in our camps, and ultimately from there, she impacted our synagogues. What happens in the synagogues of Reform Judaism today, those voices of song, are in large measure due to the insight and to the brilliance and to the influence of Debbie Friedman.